Okay, in this video today we're going to talk about offline conversion tracking, and if you don't quite know what that is, you'll find out what it is for sure today, and how that one little thing is going to triple your campaign ROI as long as you're in one of the two business classes that make up over half of all the people using Google Ads out there. And basically, or Facebook ads, or Bing ads, if you're also running ads there too. So anyway, I'm going to go over a definition of what the offline conversion tracking is, what it will do for you, how to get the most out of it, how to get the benefits out of it in general, in terms of what steps to follow, and tips and tricks. So anyway, as usual in my videos, I'm going to go through a short list of things here that you need to know about just what I described. The first thing on our list here is, where can you use this? Now, I already touched on this already. You could do offline conversion tracking in Google, Facebook, and Bing. And offline conversion tracking, what it is and what it's going to do for you is, if you make any sales that don't occur on your website through a shopping cart, if you do any phone sales and you process credit cards through a virtual terminal, or it's called a virtual terminal through the phone. So basically, you process the order with the customer or client over the phone and not necessarily sending them back to the website. What it'll do is it allows you to track your campaigns, how much revenue is coming from your ads at each one of these places using offline conversion tracking to guide your campaigns and get your 3x ROI on top of your ad spend that you're getting right now. So there's that. And if you're unable to track revenue per se, and you're one of those businesses that has a long sales cycle, people usually spend more than 90 days to decide if they're going to buy, and you don't know quite what the value of a customer is going to be because you get the money over a lot of installments over a long period of time. What it allows you to do is identify which of the leads you got were not only quality leads, and you can do that alone, but you can also do whether or not the lead actually is likely to close or did close, and use that information and pipe it back into your campaigns on these particular three different ad platforms here, and guide your campaigns to get more of that. So if you do actually generate leads, you probably already know how hard it is to get a good quality lead, especially from Google Ads if you're running B2B campaigns. And a lead is definitely not a lead as it comes to making money from these ads. And I can tell you right off the bat that for lead generation campaigns, once you've done this, you'll realize how much money and time you've wasted and aggravation you've had for nothing. Once you go ahead and execute this yourself and see for yourself for a few months of getting data into your account using these systems here, that 20% of all your ads are generating 80% of the money. And if you could just identify where the 20% is, which if you do lead generation to generate sales, whether that you close them on the spot or after a sales process, after a proposal or request for quote, you would make a ton more money, and you could probably not only do that but scale your account and make even more. So Google calls it offline conversion tracking. Facebook calls it something a little different. Bing calls this offline conversion tracking. But what you're trying to do is identify what it is that you want the prospect to do if they're not just going through and 100% of the time going and checking you out through the shopping cart yourself. Because if that is what you have, you can use Google Analytics and e-commerce revenue tracking to link up with your Google Ads account and automatically pipe in when somebody makes a sale and how much they spent directly into your Google Ads, which then you can use to optimize your ads on that particular level. And you can optimize based upon and weed out in a similar way based upon what keyword works the best, times of the day, days of the week, state, city the user is from, gender or age of the searcher, the device they're on, the income level that they have, roughly speaking, and the parental status even. And so, in any case, whether you 100% do all your sales through the shopping cart, or you sell the consumer on the phone, or you build the customer later on at some point, you should be optimizing your campaigns to essentially find out on each one of these levels which one is working and to what level. A mobile device, obviously doesn't work as good as a desktop device, but what you can do, if you have the right data fed into your account, you can identify, okay, statistically, mobile converts at half the rate that desktop does, so therefore I'm going to apply a negative 50% bet adjustment to mobile only. And that way I'll still get the sales from mobile, but I'll only tell Google I'm willing to pay this, so therefore the ROI will be the same, versus just shutting off mobile, not having that data or using it, you might cut your sales by 10% overall. It's about identifying and getting your hands on the data that'll tell you exactly, not just guessing, but exactly what you should be paying for each visitor based upon what they're searching, when they're searching, what time of the day, afternoon, night, what state they're from, so on and so forth. I have a short list here again. And then even if you're not an e-commerce business, using this offline conversion tracking to optimize your business and identify using what is called bid adjustments on each one of these, what they call sub-dimensions in your Google Ads or your Bing account or your Facebook account, what's working, so you can get narrowed down to what specifically works on the keywords that you're targeting and work ultimately for your business. There'll be some segment of pretty much all keywords in your space that works. It's just a matter of identifying within that, those people searching for those keywords, which of the sub-traits that those people also have that work and don't work, and then identifying and applying bid adjustments to your account. But if you don't do, again, the sales through your shopping cart, you feed in the data that does matter to you, so you can optimize your business regardless of what type of business you have, just like it is an e-commerce business that does have a shopping cart, and you can then import your revenue data into your ad accounts so that you can then do the kind of optimization and weeding out of your ads. You can get the ROI that you want, and that if you're not getting the ROI you want today, that you can get that 8 or 10 to 1 ROI that you're actually looking for by just narrowing down the portion of your account that did not work, and then start to scale things up by trying a few new things and going through the process with those new things in the same way over and over again until you build yourself up a big account. But specifically how it's done is Google and Facebook and Bing, how it works in a nutshell. I won't go over all the technicals. I have a blog post that gives you step-by-step how to do this on guaranteedppc.com and under my blog, that every click that you pay for on the Google, Bing, and Facebook is assigned it's not called a serial number, but essentially you can look at it as a serial number. Every single click that they have in their system, they assign a unique serial number code to track it. And you set up tracking on your website so that you can identify what that serial number is of the ad clicker. So when they get to your site, you're capturing that information right away, and then later on when they purchase or they close, or you identify the quality of the lead and you can score it and use that information that you want to, that's lead score to optimize and drill down your account to get the ROI that you're looking for ultimately. That you take the user's serial number and you import it back into your account there'll be a dedicated section of your account to do that, and then automatically propagate it in your campaigns on each one of these levels, keywords, time of the day, state, city, gender, age, so on and so forth. It shows you exactly what traits those users had, so then you can know then where to drill down and optimize and how to optimize your ads, so you get that 3x increase in ROI because it's just visibly there, and it's a matter of process and elimination to get what you want at that point in time. And so for the most part, if you have a form on your site, the way that does to give you just a little bit more information on this, the form is set up to have a hidden form field that collects the GCL ID code or Bing ID code or Facebook offline conversion code, so that when they submit the form, it also grabs out of the URL the GCL ID code or whatever code that is unique to each one of these platforms, so that you can store it with the lead. You get the lead in your email, has all their information. It also has that serial number, and then later on when that person purchases or you score the lead and you know it's good and you want to post that information back into your account, you simply you'll take that, you'll go through and you'll know John Smith purchased, 60 days later after they filled out that form, so you can find John Smith in your email. Oh, and here's his code. I'm going to import his code into my account. Boom. He typed in this. He searched at 8 p.m. He was from Texas. It was a male. He was on a tablet. He was in the top 10% of income demographic spread, and he wasn't, a parent. And then therefore, the more data you accumulate, the better and more robust you can do the dialing down of your campaign. For the most part, you spend, $10, $20, $30,000 enough on ads already. For most businesses, you're gonna have enough to triple your ROI just with that data right there. It's really, really easy once you get that data fed into your account. But that's how you actually get it in there. Actually, for phone calls, if you use CallRail, you can get the GCLID code directly from CallRail. There's a section inside your account there where you can get it, and they have the call recordings there. So when you know John Smith purchased, you can go and listen to the call recordings in your CallRail account. Identify, okay, it was this call right here that generated where John Smith initially called in. Here's his GCLID code. I'm going to import that GCLID code back into my account. Boom! I know now what he searched for, time of the day he searched, so on and so forth. So that's in general how you do the calls. And so ultimately, once you've got it imported, how you know at each one of these levels, like what attributes the person who ended up making a huge purchase, or actually was confirmed as a good lead, or so on and so forth, that you do is called a split rows. So you can adjust columns in your Google and Bing account. I'll just mention Google and Bing for now. Facebook is somewhat similar, has its own process because it has its own definable traits where you can optimize. But split rows so that you can see, if you go into the keywords menu and it lists all your keywords there, you split rows. You can Google search that to find out where that feature is at. But then it'll say leads that were good, and if that's what you were tracking, it'll say under that keyword how many you got. So therefore, when you want to assign a unique bid for that keyword to say how much you're willing to tell Google what you're willing to pay, you can actually do the math and identify, okay, I know a good lead's worth $100 because I can close it at 1 out of 5 or whatever, and therefore I can pay $100. I'm paying $120 per qualified lead under this keyword now, so therefore I'll just lower my bid by 20%, and then we're good to go. I will get the ROI that I want. Everything's good. I got a long-term way to make money from this particular keyword. So you split rows and you'll be able to see anything that you're defined there that you want to track there. It's just a matter of identifying what you want to track. You could track whether or not someone turned into a sale or a closed deal. If you can't do that, potentially, along with that, you can import the revenue from the sale or deal, or estimated revenue from the deal. And with that revenue data, once you split rows and adjust your columns, you can actually see the ROI. So if you, instead of saying a cost per, whether or not something happened, whether it cost per action, you can do the revenue divided by the ad spend to get your ROI, and you can figure out mathematically what your ROI needs to be on the ad spend, and then adjust your bids that way. But you can import your revenue, and then once your revenue is in there, of course, or assumed revenue that's going to happen from that contract, over 2 years you're supposed to get 50,000, therefore you import 50,000. But you can also, if you don't even know that, you can at least do the lead score, because when somebody responds, you can rate 1 to 10, and then you can import 1 to 10 in there, and then when you do your optimization, you can at least know which keywords produce the highest quality leads, and then you can adjust your bids along the lines of that. Or I don't have it on here, but of course you can just put in there qualified lead. You could just and what I do usually once a month, then I ask from the client, please write down the name of all the qualified leads you had. And then we go into CallRail, find the call and the GCLID code, and then we actually go into the email and find out the date that person filled out the form originally, find the GCLID code, and then we import it to Google, and then all that data for the whole month month then shows up in our account. And then we can do a big bid adjustment to narrow down even further everything what we're doing to get a little bit more out of what we're doing, and keep doing that so our ROI actually gets better and better. You'll get huge results right away doing this, and then you'll get smaller returns from it later on down the road. But that's in general how it's done. But you have to also, in the conversions menu, in each one of these, define the offline conversion. So if you're tracking qualified leads, then you have to do a conversion that says qualified leads. And then when you import, then the spreadsheet that you import, because they all take a spreadsheet, or you could do it with the API if you're a more advanced user. You could put on the spreadsheet, and you could track multiple things. So if you're tracking multiple things, you'll just have to put GCLID code this equals goal, and then for goal, qualified lead. And then you'll show, and then the goal you set up in the conversion menu for the offline conversion that matches that's qualified lead, it'll show up there, and then consequently when you split rows, you'll see qualified lead there. You can track multiple things. You can track a qualified lead, and then you can have a lead score. So you can have the lead score and know if there's had a qualified lead there, so on and so forth. So you see the various combinations there, what you can do. But again, if you're doing lead generation right now and you're not doing offline conversion tracking, you're missing out on 3x the ROI, or if you want to look at it as you are getting the ROI that you want, you can 3x your profit. That's very, very easy to do if you just go ahead and do this. And it's not that complicated. It sounds complicated, but I can assure you if you read the article on my site, it's very simple. I've broken it down for the layman, if you will, for you to follow, just for these types of situations that I'm trying to get help people do it that are totally new to the process. But if you're an e-commerce business that sells a product for more than $1,000, a lot of those people are gonna, and you do virtual terminal, or otherwise, the person can call and then they can order without coming back to the site. It's the same thing. You're going to be able to triple your ROI by tracking the people that purchase offline, because the big purchases are going to come offline through the phone. Statistically, that's just kind of how it works. If you're going to spend $50,000 with the company, you're going to call first, and you're probably going to want to put the order over the phone instead of through the website. If you send people from the phone back to the website and to order 100% of the time, then offline conversion tracking doesn't matter, obviously. But if you do take any orders, and actually I want to say, even if you don't sell more than $1,000 per transaction size, if more than 10% of your orders are through the phone, you want to do offline conversion tracking. And if you do lead generation campaigns at all, you want to do offline conversion tracking. So anyway, you can track a bunch of different things. For sure there's something that, at the very least, you can track whether or not a lead is qualified or not. And then optimize your ads so that you're not getting the 80% of junk, and you're basically you're going to be stuck with your account because it's only going to get so good at ROI. You're not going to be able to scale. Whereas on the flip side, you can get maybe, instead of a 4-to-1 ROI, you can get an 8-to-1 ROI, and then you could scale from $3,000 a month to $30,000 a month just with that one little piece to your puzzle. I've seen it done many times. And the reason why I can say that, because I've personally done it a bunch of times. And I'm doing it on pretty much every lead generation campaign or a company where more than 10% of the sales are done over the phone for that particular client. So anyway, go ahead and give that a try. If you have any questions about that, you can of course leave a comment. I might be able to help you get set up or to understand the process a little bit, get you started, or guide you a little bit. I have a lot of other videos like this on this channel. You should subscribe. Every day I come out with a PPC strategy video. From my 15 years of experience, I put in my videos how to do the things that I do for my clients so you can do them for yourself. Of course, like I said, I have a blog and a PPC strategy guide there that teaches you step by step how to do certain aspects of making PPC money making campaigns, if you will, setting those up from scratch for yourself. You can check that out as well. I appreciate your time in watching this video, and I wish the best of luck to you, and really do hope that you do start tracking offline conversions for your lead generation or partially offline product sales business.